Welcome, everybody, to another Grinds Gaming Bite episode. We will be talking about Halo Infinite, and how it's going as a service game that they promised and they have not stopped talking about. We will be finding out more about that and what are the updates for the new year for 2022 for Halo Infinite. If you're still playing it, I've dropped off a little bit of it, and yeah, it is a waiting game for me, and apparently it might be a waiting game for everybody else as well. Let's get into it. Oh, baby. What's up, everybody? Grinders, we're here. The Grinds Gaming Bite. Oh, yeah, we got the words. We got the Halo news coming up. Just recently came out about a couple of days ago. Before we get into that, if you're new here, hit that subscribe button. Join over 1,100 grinders in the gaming grindhouse. And hit that like button if you like the content that's coming your way from the grindhouse. We're in the lounge tonight. And we're going to be talking HAL00, no, Halo Infinite, yes. If you're a note on this channel, I've streamed the whole game, I've played the whole game, and I've played a lot of the multiplayer. It kind of carried me through the December time frame, jumping around between all the, multiplayer shooters, which we talked about. Shout out to Salty's podcast we did on the show last night on Thursday. Definitely check that out. And, and you can keep it locked on this channel for the Gaming Grindhouse, which is going to be on Monday nights, 8:30 with Frogs Dope Gaming. And we go through the grinds board topics of the week. So check that out here. And let's go with this. So, as you know, there was Halo Infinite launch with very bare bones content. About 3 big team battle maps, about 6, I guess, arena shooting maps. And the game modes, you could not select them. They did not have Team Slayer. They basically had small team and they had big team battle. And there have been issues right now with big team battle going on that you can't even get into the multiplayer queues. This whole cross-platform. Another thing that's coming out, too, is, this whole cross PC and Xbox, people want to turn that off, as they did in Gears, but then they forced them to play each other. So, waiting for some updates, waiting for some fixes. They were told us, as we're leading into Halo for the last year and a half, this is a service game. Service with a smile. Kind of reminds me of, like, when you're delayed 3 hours on a plane and they thank you for your patience, and you're just like, well, what else am I supposed to do here? Like, I am sitting here, thank you for waiting. I'm like, well, I can't get off the plane, and they just keep kind of pandering, like, oh, well, thank you so much for your patience. And well, what am I supposed to do? Well, that's kind of the situation that we're in here with Halo. It's like, if you want to play Halo, yes, there's other options. You could go play Master Chief Collection, which I recommend. It has actually a leveling system in there. But, when Halo Infinite launched, there was a lot of things going on with it. The progression system was bonkers. It was a free-to-play multiplayer. And specifically talking about the multiplayer, there were a lot of issues with it. It not having the breadth of content that we're familiar with Halo. No new drawing in game modes. No game modes that are new to the franchise. And basically very limited maps. And they said that it was a service game and they will add more content later. And the progression was horrible. The battle pass was horrible. The content that you're unlocking is just the good weapons and the good skins are behind money. You got to pay for them. The earnable stuff is kind of weak. And you just earn colors too. Like, it's not even cool designs or anything. Like, it has a long way to go. Like, this was definitely coming in hot, as the background suggests, it's coming in hot. And we're here now. They said they're going on holiday. Right before they went on holiday, they said, hey, we're going to add Slayer. We heard you. We'll add Slayer as a selectable game mode. Well, to show some gameplay here as we're going through the stream, this is the campaign. One of the things that was the issue here is that where is the content? But we're not even there yet because they just posted an update when they just went on vacation. And they came back from vacation. Things are broken like Big Team Battle. You can't match. The matchmaking takes forever, and it doesn't bring your team with you. That's huge, considering it's one of 3 selectable game modes. Oh, there's some frame rate drops there. Optimization on PC, wonderful. And they really came back from vacation and posted this update. Another thing that happened too is that they had issues with cheating. They don't have any anti-cheats right now with crossplay. You know, one of the things that grinds my gears here on the game Grindhouse is that when this crossplay with PC and console was proposed, and remember, blue was out and green and red were better together, and you know, this whole E3 where Jim Ness didn't want to have this crossplay and respected their PlayStation audience and didn't want to have this crossplay, and then eventually they broke down the walls and now it's just crossplay. But the proposal was that with great power comes great responsibility. If they were going to make this crossplay happen, they were going to do special things to make sure that it was a quality experience for both parties involved. And we have seen this now across the last few years of this stuff being taken advantage of for us gamers, where you can't turn it off. The options are not there to turn off crossplay, to play to turn off the PC crossplay in that, or to just play with console owners, or just play with controllers and not with keyboard and mouse. Now, Halo does have it in the rank match where they do have that, so that is good. But not a lot of people want to be ranked all the time, but they just want that option overall. And as you've seen in Gears 5 and in Gears 4, they forced the crossplay as the queues were taking too long to join in. And they forced it. So they change it. At first they go, yeah, we have it, the selectable, and then they turn it off. Well, now there's cheating involved that's been here. And there was no anti-cheats shipped with the game to prevent this stuff. They had an anti-cheat in Master Chief Collection, but not in this one. They had a ranking and progression system in Master Chief Collection where you unlocked, and it was skill-based unlocking. You did 10 and 1, you got better XP than the friend that went -10. You captured the flag 3 times, you got more XP bonus. You went in with a party, you got more XP bonus. You did the objective, you did the kill streak, you did the double kills, you took down a Banshee, you got extra XP. That's nowhere to be seen in Halo Infinite. It's a service game, we're reminded. Well, buried way deep in a forum post. This was not on their main page. Way deep. Deeper than deep. Ankle deep in a Walmart discount bin. Sketch puts this post out. This wasn't on the Infinite website. This wasn't on their blog post. But it contains information. And the motif I see in here is that it's going to take time. After a year delay, after their holiday vacation, these things are going to take time. Priorities are shifting. Priorities are changing. You said it's a service game, but the service is not fixing it. And it seems that they are just running around, just trying to appease all these issues that they didn't even anticipate, or they knew about it. But it's like, where is the content? We're not even there yet, because look at these updates, and we're going to go through it. Happy New Year. We came back from an awesome holiday break. He says they're largely back in action this week, and I know many of you are very eager to hear some of the updates. We're working on a broader info of update and driving tours to share more details and a roadmap. Oh my goodness, a roadmap to help answer the questions and manage expectations. That don't sound like an exciting roadmap, does it? I don't know. That don't sound like a roadmap of amazing content and things forthcoming. It sounds like a roadmap of like, this is to shut you guys up because we're working on it. Does that sound like a games as a service? Does it? No. and Microsoft has a history of this with their releases. Sea of Thieves, for example, just putting a game out there that's half baked and then, fixing it and addressing the community and all this other stuff as you go through it. Really? That's not a service. The service is providing content. Well, anyway, he says share more details on roadmap to help answer questions and manage expectations. Oh boy. Managing expectations. Oh man. Actually, you know what? We got sirens here. We got the sirens. Please. Why is it always managing expectations? Why can't I just be excited? Well, here we go. Let's start the motif. That exercise is going to take some time to flesh out because we know it's a process. There's a lot to dig into, and it's rather complicated web of work items, dependencies, and priorities. So we want to be sure to share the information accurate. In the meantime, we want to first and foremost provide a situation about the state of Big Team Battle and Halo Infinite. As you know, we've been dealing with frustrating issues with Big Team Battle since launch, and despite a few attempts at solving and mitigating it before the holiday break, we were unable to get this fixed. While Big Team Battle has remained playable, there are matchmaking issues that increase with more players, and larger fire teams have a low chance of successfully joining a game together. Now, if you recall, the reason why Slayer and all those other things weren't in there was because they wanted to make sure that the objective modes were there because you want to know why. It all goes right back to this battle pass and the progression system. They have random activities that are fed into your progression system, and those activities could be dependent on game modes. Now they try to address some of that stuff. But they didn't want everybody to jump into Team Slayer and then get a bunch of objectives for Oddball or capture the flag that you're never going to do for your weeklies. Now you have to use the consumables, the swappables, which you only get a certain amount of those, and you earn them in the Battle Pass. Or you could buy them for a nice 2 Craig bucks. Now, you see, it's almost like Dave & Buster's. You're using house's money, you're buying these consumables, you got to use the swappable because they gave you a weekly that you can't do or that you don't want to do. And that feeds into the Battle Pass progression and the monetization. They knew exactly what they're doing. But one of the reasons why they didn't want to do Slayer was because they didn't want to take away from the objective modes. Well, now, because they didn't want long queue lines. Well, now there's issues in Big Team Battle that they can't get you to join into rooms. That's essential. This wasn't an issue before, but as more people playing, which, you know what? We've seen the numbers. It doesn't seem like a lot of people are playing. A strike force is continuing to work. I continue with this. A strike force is continuing to work on this over the break, and we're optimistic to believe that we have a fix in hand for a core issue. This went into Q&A last week, and so far looking positive. We are not seeing this issue occur intentionally using this build. Next steps, we're continuing testing and then moving into a certification process as we prepare to release a hotfix patch for the issue. This is a little too early to give an estimated time of arrival, but we're yet to know that the goal is to release as soon as we can and ensuring it. It won't be this week, but we could also too much further out, and we'll share the update as soon as we can. We know that there's a number of topics and you're eager to hear about, including some issues and instances of cheating. The team has been working on a patch for mid-February that looks to address these issues and other things, and we'll have more details to come as we get closer to release. We're actively triaging and working to get as much as possible for this February update, which will ensure no negative impacts or regression for other parts of the game. Now we're opting the slipstream, the Big Team Battle fixes, given the broad scope of impact of all players. Not to say that issues like cheating and wonkiness and ranked experiences aren't important. It's just that there's other dependencies and a bit longer timeline than this Big Team Battle fix, which is nearly ready to go. The shifting of priorities. This is the service. What was the plan? What is the plan? We didn't even get to content yet. It's all excuses about why things are being prioritized over other things. I don't like this kind of gaming, man. Like, this is so frustrating. People asking for more maps, for new game modes, for new experiences, maybe new weapons. Remember when on this channel where we're talking about the classic weapons, the classic shotgun, the classic pistol, all these weapons. Oh, we'll find a good time to add those. We heard you. We know you want the classic pistol and the classic shotgun back in the game, but it's a service game. We'll find a time to add those back. Well, I don't think that time is anytime soon, considering they are still trying to figure out a roadmap. Like, what is going on? How can the development be this disarray? Phil, Booty, how can you let this happen to Halo? I understand there's issues that pop up and technical, but you shipped a service game in alpha. You had alpha tests. You had beta tests. Remember, everybody, it's a beta, leave it alone. You had all these things, all these opportunities to fine-tune and tweak this stuff, but you're still trying to figure it out and reprioritizing stuff. So the cheating is going to be in a February update. They already delayed the whole season right before the game launch. Remember, no co-op for it's going to be 3 months, the seasons. They come out when the game launches and go, well, season 1 is going to last until May. We were targeting, the spring for co-op, but that season's going to come out in May, end of this season. Right before the game launched. Like, what's going on? So they're slipstreaming the big team battle fixes. They're getting these out there. But they're taking the cheating and they're going to try to have that ready for the February update. And here we go. Thank you for your patience, airline, right? While we're blown away and humbled by the reception and launch. Yeah, all those extra inflated scores with all this stuff not there, the content. That's what I mean. See, that's what happens when the media and review is kind of fluff up a game. They fluff it up, going, well, you showed us something that was really terrible. We had really low expectations for Halo, because that's exactly what they did. Last year, when Halo was shown last year at that E3, before that E3, Halo was going to be the thing to really get everybody back into the Xbox, get back into it. People were hyped. They were putting it on a pedestal. It's Halo. Why wouldn't you? 20 years, right? Well, then they showed they showed the campaign. They showed Craig. And all of a sudden, people were like, whoa, what's going on here? Expectations dropped. All of a sudden, Halo wasn't. People were hyping more about Forza. They were looking over Halo because Microsoft didn't even show. Xbox didn't even show a lot of Halo even at E3 in 2021. It was a mid-show piece where they showed a multiplayer trailer CGI for a character that you don't even play. They showed a multiplayer trailer and a CGI for a character that's not even a skin in the game. A person that was saved by an ODST and she was training the Marines. Oh, what? You don't even play. She's not even a skin. She's not even a playable character. It was just fluff. But they took everybody's expectations and dropped them. So the pedestal of Halo dropped. Now the game releases, it's a competent shooter, and all of a sudden it gets all this extra fluff. Well, guess what? They're so happy with the reception and launch. See if the game came out with 6s and 7s and 5s going, this needs to be fixed. This game it needs content. Don't rate it that it's a competent shooter. It should have been measured at a higher standard because it's Halo, because of the franchise. Just like every other franchise that gets there, a God of War, an Uncharted, a Gears of War. There's a certain a Mario, a Zelda game. There's a legacy there. That franchise has a legacy and should be measured by the previous games and by the legacy that it is. They should not be reviewing these games as like, oh, well, our expectations were shot down because Microsoft decided to show some wonky-ass single-player game. play with horrible textures. And did it improve that much? A little bit, yeah. But we're giving bonus brownie points out here. Well, when you do that, they're like, oh wow, we hit our meta. We got the 8s and 9s, and we even got a game of the year vote. Like, who are we joking with here? And then you found out after all those reviews came out, then people are like, well, there's not a lot of content in this game. I'm kind of done with it. I'm dropping it. And you see the things now that 20,000, 30,000 on Steam, which could be about 50% of the player base. According to some YouTubes analyzing this, that it could be about 40% of the player base. It's dropping to 30,000 a peak from a 272,000. How's a service game survive like that? And then it's not even that you're bringing people back with content. You're bringing people back with, like, we're sorry. But see, we're humbled. You shouldn't have. So what happened, they got the high scores. They got all these scores, these brownie points, and they went on vacation. And now sit here and it's like, well, where's the content? Where's the newness of it? And people are going to drop it. And they have been. And here we go. We're humbled by the launch. And it's like, we got a lot to get after now as a live service studio. They're calling themselves a live service studio. They're not even like a game developer. They're a live service studio. We will continue to make improvements and address the feedback everywhere we can, though some things are going to take more time than many of you and us would like. Oh no. Sirens. More time after a year delay. More time than many of you and us. Us too. We heard you. Would like. Thank you. Keep the feedback coming. We're in this together with a great foundation to grow and evolve upon. Stay tuned for more details. This is growing and evolving. You're fixing broken stuff that shouldn't even been there to begin with. You should have had anti-cheats. You should have made, like, Big Team Battle was working. Now it's not. And now that has to get reprioritized so that anti-cheat stuff goes to February. This is not your first Halo game. Like, this is what I mean. This is not your first. You're not an indie studio. 20 years of Xbox, 20 years of Halo, 20 years, 19 years of Xbox Live, of online shooters. Halo did this. We're growing and evolving. Like, are you an indie studio? Like, what is this? And I'm just tired of these service games coming out with lacking content and not having a roadmap of content and event and special and like stuff to bring you back. I just think that it is just a sad state. And they got away with it. They made a competent shooter, which there was nothing wrong with the shooting. There was nothing wrong with the Halo 5 multiplayer. People say Halo 5 was horrible. It wasn't. They messed up the story because of their marketing. They marketed it the wrong way. It wasn't that bad of a game. The multiplayer was great. Warzone was innovative. The arena shooter, the paintball mode, all these modes were innovative. There was so much content. And they added more. They added Firefight Warzone. They added more stuff. They added awesome, cool weapon mods and all this. They added content to the game. And I don't mean fixing it. Yes, you fix it in the back end, but you also have a plan of new content, right? Classic weapons, new game modes. You shipped the 3 maps in Big Team Battle. What? No interactivity. They weren't even that kind of amazing. There's no snow maps. There's no different biomes. It's basically a night and day map of the same jungle, the same woods and things that you already went on in the campaign. The lack of variety in the environment. Either they're Forerunner structures or they're in the world with those Halo trees. Where's the variety? They had, where's midship? Where's Covenant ships? Where's Covenant, base? Why don't you have a map that's on the Infinity? Like, where there's so much lore, there's so much stuff you could add to this game. I'm not even a developer, and I can tell you all the stuff that probably would be pretty cool to add to Halo that should have been there. But you're talking about anti-cheats. Microsoft decided to do this. They pioneered this whole console PC day one thing. How can you not have this stuff for your game? How? How can this not be ready? After a year delay on top of that. It's the waiting game. And soon, and already it has been, is that these games, the people are not going to stick around. They'll come back maybe if you add a new mode, maybe for co-op. But as a service game, this is a bad service. And until these devs and everybody realize that a service game, if you're going to commit to being a service game, you better have a game that's competent at launch, that has content. And if you ship less content, that you're prepared. And this is a message to all those service games. That you're prepared to release a roadmap, that you have content coming. 3 months, 2 months later, new maps, new game modes. Keeping it fresh, keeping people hooked. There was no new game modes in this. But you touted it was a service game for 2 years. For years on it. Like, it's a service game. Well, you're just going to let it sit out there and die? And then make you become a game in 3 years, 4 years? Like Sea of Thieves, and say, oh, look, all these people played. That's success, I guess. I guess that's what they want. Or they just want to put the cool stuff, the cool skins, the cool weapon skins, and the vehicle skins behind just buying it for the whales to buy. $20, $15. Maybe that's the monetization. I don't know. Like, maybe that's what they plan on doing. Put the cool stuff, all that stuff there. They take an event and they split it over 3 months. They give you a week to earn it, and then they take it away. But anyway. It's unfortunate, as a big Halo fan, to see Halo in this state, that it fell into the same Sea of Thieves, State of Decay roadmap that we've seen with those games. And they did it with Halo. Gears was a little bit better with it. Like, I think they kind of, well, that was Rod Ferguson, who's not there anymore, so who knows what the next Gears is going to be. But Gears kind of stayed true, even though they didn't really innovate the multiplayer that much. They just kind of fine-tuned it. But again, I just find that there's more people playing games, this cross-platform stuff, and this whole vision of, like, selling to the masses is really just hurting these games. Like, I don't know what the sacrifice is of making the games accessible and making these games playable is doing to these games. Like, are they like, send out a shell of a game and we'll fix it later, We'll just want to get it out there for more people rather than focus development on a platform. Like, if Halo was just coming out on an Xbox and not a service game and not part of Game Pass, just make a free-to-play portion like Warzone did. Therefore, you could keep Halo intact and keep it the game that it should be, that should have been the continuation of what the Halo saga was going on. They didn't do that. And now we're left with this. Thank you for your patience. Wait while we fix this stuff. Stay tuned. And with that, everybody, I want to thank everybody for tuning into the show. Hit that like button and definitely hit that subscribe button. Join the Grindhouse. And shout out to all the VIP grinders, the new members to the channel, as we go through the balcony with the splits. And I want to thank everybody for joining in. Stay tuned for the next show. It'll be a doozy. And also keep it locked here for the Gaming Grindhouse on Monday nights at 8:30. See you later, everybody.